All right, good morning. I know we have a couple more people possibly popping in a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and get started because it's 8 o'clock. So if you're here for the meeting, we might want a strap or a towel or a scarf or something to hold on to. You don't have to have one, but you might want one. And you might want a block. We're just going to do supported bridge pose later for our low back, as today is all about opening the hips and low back. So hopefully you have those handy. I'll give you just a couple of minutes to get them. While we come into our beginning pose, we're going to be in a simple seated position. If this is feeling uncomfortable on your hips or your lower back, definitely you can also have a blanket handy. Bring them up underneath, bring it up underneath the back of your hips and just raise your hips up a little bit above your knees. My hips are feeling all right today, so I'm going to set my blanket to the side. Find my weight evenly between both sit bones. Lengthen the tailbone down, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Lift through the crown of the head. Gently close the eyes and start to arrive on the mat. Inhale through the nose, filling the stomach and the chest. And exhale softly through the nose, allowing the chest to fall, allowing the shoulder blades to release down the back. Inhale, feel the length of the spine, the crown lifting, the tailbone grounded down. Exhale, feel your connection to the ground beneath you. Allow your legs to sink down, allow your shoulders to sink down. And inhale through the nose, fill the stomach and the chest. And exhale, allow the body to sink down towards the ground. Stomach pulls up and in, and the chest drops. Inhale fully and completely, feeling the length of the spine, crown of the head lifted, tailbone reaching down. Exhale, soften the body down towards the floor. Allow the mind to settle into this breath, into this body. Arriving on the mat. Allow thoughts, distractions, and worries to settle, fade into the background and float by like clouds in the sky. And inhale, gently blink the eyes open. We'll shift our weight forward on our sit bones. Find our hands supported on our legs or on the ground in front of us and gently forward fold. So pull in the belly button, protect the low back, even if your hips are supported on a blanket. You may need to shift your weight side to side a little bit if you find pinching or tightness here. But soften through the back body. Breathe into the hips. Soften the glutes. Allow the head to relax down. And that looks like this. Even if you're in the upright position, you can just allow the chin to fall to the chest. And find that full and complete breath again. Inhale, press into the hands, walk back upright. Find length in the spine. Exhale and take the right hand to the left knee, the left fingertips beside or behind you. Squeeze the abs to find this twist. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhale, tightening those abs, lifting the hands once just to make sure we're not using our arms to twist. Turn the gaze over the back shoulder. And exhale back through the middle. Inhale, find length in the spine again. And exhale, twisting the other way. Left hand comes to right knee, right fingertips beside or behind you. Shoulder blades drawing down the back. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, squeeze. One more inhale here. And exhale back through the middle. And we'll change the crossing of our legs. Again, find your weight evenly distributed between both sit bones. Then shift your weight forward onto the pelvis. Hinge forward from the hips, maybe supporting yourself on your legs, maybe walking your hands out in front of you. Breathing into the back body, shifting side to side if you're feeling any pinching or tightness until you feel that go away. And then breathing into the back body, softening through the glutes, softening through the hips and low back, allowing the chin to fall to the chest or the head to rest towards the ground. Inhale and come back upright. We'll take the left fingertips to the ground, right fingertips up. Draw the shoulder blades down. Find length in both side waists. Inhale again and exhale, reach those fingertips to the left. Press the ribs out to the right. Keep space in this left side waist. Don't collapse down into it. And then we'll find a little movement here, drawing our thumb back behind us, lifting our chest towards the ceiling. And then our pinky forwards across that front knee, stretching through the middle back here. Moving with the breath, inhaling one direction and exhaling the other direction. And rotating all the way through, we're going to bring the right fingertips down. Somebody's asked me a question, so go ahead and bring the right fingertips down, the left fingertips up as we're talking. Find that long side waist. Inhale at the top and exhale, reach the fingertips to the right. Again, not collapsing into that right side waist. Keep long waist on both sides. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, long neck, fingertips reaching strongly away from the hip. Breathe through the stretch. And then finding a little movement, pulling the thumb back behind you, lifting the chest towards the ceiling. And then exhale, rounding down, pulling the pinky across that front knee. Inhale up. Oh, or either way, just finding one breath, one direction. And the opposite breath, the other direction. We'll do one more breath. And on the last breath, circling through and coming back upright. Take your feet out in front of you. Softly bent knees. We'll bring our hands behind us with our fingertips pointing towards us, just supporting ourselves behind us. And we're going to move our knees side to side. This opens through the hips and opens through the outside of the legs here. You can relieve any tightness or tension. So just a gentle movement side to side. And then keeping the knees over to the left, we're going to bring the left foot up and over that right knee. And just feel a deep stretch through that side of that hip and leg. So we're allowing the weight of the top leg to pull the bottom leg down, the weight of the bottom leg, the weight of the leg that's on top, in this case, the left leg, to pull the right knee down towards the ground. And release. Windshield wiper the knees back and forth again, just noticing the difference in both hips as you do so. And settling the knees over to the right side. Now taking the right foot up and over the left knee. Again, allowing that right foot, the weight of that leg and foot to pull that left knee down towards the ground. And you should feel this stretch all the way through that hip and leg. You could feel it in your knee or in your ankle on that left leg as well. Keep your breath full and complete. Tighten through don't tighten through them, soften through the tight areas. And exhale, release. And we'll come over to our hands and our knees. So again, if you have a folded blanket or a towel handy, you can place this under your knees or under your wrists for support. You could also fold over your mat, take the palms of your heels of your palm onto the edge of the mat, the fingertips off of the mat. And you can do that the same for your knees. You could fold over your mat underneath you. We're going to do some cat-cow breaths. So finding the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Inhale, drop the chest, press it forward between the biceps, lift the head, lift the hips. Big stretch through the front of the body. Exhale, press away from the mat. Press into all 10 knuckles, press the hips forward as you tuck the chin to the chest and pull the belly button in. Inhale and dive forward, stretching through the front of the body, lifting the head and the hips. The shoulder blades draw down the back here. And exhale, pressing away from the mat, hips press forward, tuck the chin into the chest, belly button draws in. 2 more breaths here. And then just widening the space between your front hands a little bit. We're going to take our left foot forward between our hands. And depending on where you're at, you may have to stop and help the foot forward. And we're going to find that left knee directly over the left ankle. Maybe curl the toes of the right foot under to support that right knee. And possibly lifting the knee and sliding it back a little bit farther. We're just looking for a deep stretch in the front of that right hip and psoas area. So sink the hips down. Make sure that as you sink the hips down, the knee does not come forward over the ankle. Keep the hips squared towards the front edge of the mat. So a lot of times we will shift our weight as we do this and we'll twist open, but we want the hips squared forward. And you can support yourself with a block if you would like to, or just with your fingertips on the ground. Shoulder blades draw down the back. Sometimes any tightness in our lower back can come from tightness in the front of the thighs and the hips, that psoas area. So stretching through here will help to relieve some of the pressure on that lower back and lower spine area. On your next breath in, we'll sit our hips up and back, keeping this left heel dug into the ground, drawing the left toes back with you. Find that left hip pulling back to meet the right hip. And you can hold wherever feels comfortable. So again, if the ground is too far away here, come up, support yourself on a block. Bring your hands to your hips, lead your chest forward. Or even sit your hips all the way back and make this a little bit more of a passive stretch. Just a big, deep stretch through that back of the left leg. Maybe even all the way back into the left glute and the left hip. Inhale and come up and forward. And we'll take the left knee back and the right foot forward. So finding that right knee directly over the right ankle, maybe curling the toes on the left foot to support that knee, or keeping the toes uncurled, whichever feels better on your knee. You can also keep that knee closer in or farther back. Sink the hips low. Make sure that doesn't change the dynamics of the knee over the ankle in front. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and breathe here. Square the hips forward towards the short edge of the mat. And on your exhale, sit the hips up and back, dig that right heel into the ground, draw the right toes back with you. Find your support here. So again, you can be up on a block. You can have your hands on your hips, leading your chest forward, or you can sit your hips all the way back and down. So we're feeling the stretch through the back of the leg, maybe all the way up into the hip. Breathing with that, allowing the muscles to soften around it. And inhale up and forward, releasing that front leg back. Take the knees wide, set the hips back, come into a child's pose. Walk the hands forward and drop the chest towards the ground. We're going to walk our hands over to the right side now. Take the left hand over the right, creating a cradle for the head, and then drop the head down into that cradle. And walking the hands back through the middle and over to the left. Right hand comes over left here. Fingertips kind of interlace. And we drop the head down into the arms. So again, stretching out our sides opens up through that hip and the lower back area. It can help relieve tension or tightness that we didn't know was pulling on these things. And inhale, coming back through the middle. And then walking the hands back upright. So take the left hand behind you as you come up, and we're going to inhale the right arm up and over, and then maybe lift our sit bones up as we do so. Big stretch through the front of the body, through that right thigh and that right hip. Exhale, drop the hips, release the right hand. Draw it back behind you, left hand comes up and over, lift the hips, lift the sit bones, maybe track the fingers with your eyes, looking up and over. And exhale, release. Inhale forward, hands and knees one more time. We're gonna curl the toes under, press into all 10 knuckles, lift the sit bones high, and sit up and back to our downward dog. So our sit bones lift high, our shoulder blades draw down our backs. Then we slowly lower our heels towards the ground, keeping that length in the spine. As we reach our heels down, our sit bones high, press our chest and shoulder blades back towards our knees. Inhale and draw the left foot high. Then bend that left foot over, right foot. Right foot high. Bend that right foot over the left hip. Another inhale, come into a plank, drawing the knee into the nose. And exhale, we're going to step the foot forward over to the side of the mat and drop the leg down. So here you might want to block to place underneath that right hip. Or you may be able to drop the hip down onto the ground as it is. Walk the left toes back and slowly sink the hips down. Don't rock over onto the right side or the left side. Keep the hips squared over that leg. And a quick reminder that the more distance between this heel and this hip, I'm going to turn so you can see me better. So, the more distance between your right heel and your left hip, the deeper the stretch. So if your heel is way far forward, that's a really intense stretch. If you walk the heel back more, so your leg is more at an angle, it's a little bit easier stretch. So wherever you feel comfortable today, untuck those left toes, square the hips, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Hello. Anita, you can say, hi, this is the cat from your farm. Samantha's cat has to come and help us do yoga today, huh? All right, and then we're going to come down, maybe come down onto our forearms. Soften through the back. Soften through the hips. Thank you. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and down. Together and down the back. It's one of those mornings when I can't talk. Inhale and come back upright. Curl the toes of the left leg under, lift the left knee up and step back to a plank and then to a downward dog. Inhale the left toes high this time. Draw the left heel across that right hip, opening through the left hip and the left thigh. On your next inhale, shift forward into a plank, draw the knee into the nose. And then stepping the foot forward, finding that lower position. So we're going to drop down the knee first. Remembering again that the more space between the heel and the hip, the deeper the stretch. Then walk the right toes back and come down onto that right leg. Square the hips forward. Inhale and lift the chest, draw the shoulder blades down the back. And on your next exhale, maybe come down onto your forearms. Soften through the shoulders, soften through the muscles of the face. Breathe into the tight areas. Release the glutes, release the hips. Inhale and press into the hands, come back upright. Curl the toes of the right foot under, lift the right leg up high, and step it back to a plank. And then exhale, lift the hips, draw the shoulder blades back, come into our downward dog. Allow the spine to lengthen here. Allow any pressure on the low back to release. Maybe nod the head, yes, and no. And let go of any tension in the back of the neck. On your exhale, soften the knees and slowly come down. We're gonna make our way over onto our backs with our block and our strap within arm's reach. So slowly rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Back of the head, the last thing to touch down. Draw the feet in close to the sit bones, the shoulder blades down the back. Again, keeping your block right where you can reach it. We're going to start with just a few pelvic tilts. So taking your hands to your low stomach, inhale, press the tailbone into the ground, round away from the floor with your low back and your middle back. Exhale, pull the belly button in, pull the tailbone off the ground. Feel the tilt of the pelvis the opposite way. Press your low back into the ground and your middle back. Inhale, rock away from the ground. Feel the shoulder blades pressing in. Feel the tailbone pressing down. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Lift the tailbone off the ground. Flatten out the back. Feel the curve in the back of your neck. Make sure it's remaining as you find this movement. So you can keep one hand there and one hand on your belly as you breathe. Inhale, rock away, open through the stomach here. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Make sure that curve is staying in the back of your neck. Inhale, go ahead and release the hands to the sides. Find that space in the low back. Exhale, pull the belly button in, flatten the back out. And then find a neutral spine. Take your block in one hand. We're going to come into a supported bridge pose. So in the bridge pose, as we come up, I want you to press into both feet, into the back of your head, into your shoulders, and make sure you're maintaining that curve in the back of the neck. Once we come up with our hips, which we will start by peeling the tailbone off the ground in that flattened back position, we can either have the block in the middle position along the spine, in the lower position along the spine, or in the lower position supporting both hips. And depending on where you're at, this position, this middle position along the spine will help to lengthen the tailbone and the lower back down and align anything that might be misaligned in that low back. But if there's a lot of pain and pressure there, this lower position is more supportive and along the hips allows the low back to release and relax without any pressure on the spine area. So just keeping that in mind as we come up. Another thing to keep in mind is wherever we're at, we want the tailbone to be pulling down away from us so that the block should be above the tailbone just slightly. Press into the back of the head, press into the shoulders, press into the feet. Find that exhale where your belly button is pulled in and the low spine is pressed into the ground. Tailbone peels off the ground and slowly lifts up higher and higher. Draw the knees towards one another. Keep the curve in the back of the neck. And then find the block underneath the hips in whichever position feels best for you. Find the tailbone drawing down. If you have the block along the length of the spine, the tailbone can be resting on the block. And just make sure it's still pulling down towards your feet. And then slowly lower down over the block. And as you do so, soften through the back body. Soften through the glutes, the hips, the low back. Feel the knees still drawing towards one another, but keep everything else in the low body soft. Feel a little pressure in the back of the head and the shoulders. Find your full and complete breath. Use the exhale to sink down over that block or support. You can also place blankets, folded blankets, or pillows underneath your hips. We're going to be here for several breaths, so use this opportunity to inhale fully and completely, and exhale softly and slowly. Let go of any stress or tension that may have built up. So allow the mind to settle back into this moment on the mat with your body and your breath. Press into the feet, press into the back of the head. Peel the tailbone off the ground, lift the hip off the block, lift the hips. Set the block to the side and slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. Now hug our knees into our chest now, moving the spine in the opposite direction, and just rock the knees around in a big circle. One direction, and then the other direction. Find our figure 4 stretch here. So placing the right foot flat on the ground, take the left ankle over the right knee, and maybe draw that right knee into the chest. Release the right foot down. Take the strap around the ball of the left foot, or hold onto the inner and outer thigh, inner and outer shin, or inner and outer ankle, or the big toes. We'll press through the heel up towards the ceiling, drawing the toes back towards us. And here we're going to find length in that right leg, grounding it down, stretching it out along the mat. And then we'll walk our hands down the strap as far as we comfortably can, drawing that leg towards us, keeping it as straight as it likes to be, as it can be. Then take the strap or the leg in the left hand and open the leg out towards the left side. Keep that right hip and leg grounded down. Shoulder blades pressing down. Opening through the groin, the inner thigh. Inhale back through the middle. Strap comes into the right hand. Left arm goes out at shoulder height. Pull the leg across the body and towards the right. See my foot? Press through the heel, draw the toes back towards you. Inhale back through the middle. Both hands come to the strap, draw that right foot in, draw the left leg in, and then release the left leg to cross over the right leg. Take the arms out at a T, keeping the strap close by. Drop the knees down towards the right side, maybe turn the gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale back through the middle. And we'll find that figure 4 stretch on the other side now. So left leg down, right ankle comes up and over the left thigh, open out away from the body with the right knee, engage through the right toes, maybe draw the left knee into the chest, grabbing the inner and outer thigh or the inner and outer shin. Shoulder blades relax down towards the ground. Exhale and release the left foot down. Take the strap around the ball of the right foot. Press through that right heel up towards the ceiling. Draw the right toes back towards you. And then walk your hands down the strap. Maybe lengthen that left leg out, pressing the full length of the leg into the ground. Again, keeping the right toes engaged and drawing back towards you, pressing through the right heel. Take the strap in the right hand, release the left arm down, open the leg out towards the right. Remember to keep that left leg engaged and pressing down. You can place your hand on your hip or your thigh to remind you of that if you'd like to. Inhale back through the middle. Left hand comes to the strap, right arm comes out, and draw the foot across the body to the left. Keeping that right shoulder grounded down, maybe turning the gaze over the right hand. Inhale back through the middle. Draw the left foot in. Oh, both hands come to the strap, I'm sorry. Walk down the strap one more time for one more deep stretch. Then exhale, release the strap. Cross the right leg over the left. Arms come out at shoulder height. Drop the knees down towards the left side as your gaze turns over the right shoulder. You have to keep those shoulders both grounded into the ground. Inhale, come back through the middle. We'll hug the knees into the chest one more time, releasing any pressure or tension on the low back. Maybe kiss the forehead to the knees. And then release the head down. Move the knees in a big circle, again massaging that low back one direction and then the other direction. Then we'll go ahead and release the feet down. Then extend the legs out long, one foot at a time, drawing the shoulder blades down the back and together. Relax the hands, palms up a little ways away from the hips. Gently close the eyes. Inhale, filling the whole body. And exhale, softening the whole body down into the mat. Feel the support of the ground beneath you and allow yourself to sink into that support. Notice the breath coming in and out of the body. Allow it to move freely without any restriction. Soften through the toes, the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, the ankles, the shins and calves, the knees, the thighs, the hips. Relax the glutes, the low stomach and low back. Soften through the middle and upper back, the fingers and hands, wrists, lower arms, upper arms into the shoulders, the neck, tissues of the throat, the muscles in the face, softening the jaw, the cheeks, the space around the nose and the eyes, between the eyes and the forehead. Inhale again as if breathing into the whole body, down into the fingertips, down into the toes. And exhale as if exhaling from the whole body. Inhale in warmth and light, healing and energy, and exhale out anything that isn't serving you, any tightness, any tension, any pain. Allow the sense of relaxation and peace to grow and to root deep down inside you with your breath. Carry it with you throughout the day, throughout the week. And once again, noticing the points of contact between yourself and the ground, the air on your skin. Bring a little movement back into the hands and the feet. One at a time, draw the feet in flat. And roll over onto your right side. And take a few breaths there. Before pressing up to sitting. As you're ready, inhaling the arms to the side and overhead. And exhaling the palms down through heart center, sealing your practice. Namaste.